Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're all, and welcome to another of the old live stream game. March already, I can't believe it's a month since I've done one of these things, and since I last spoke to you, I've got a brand new setup here. I've got a brand new mic, I've got a brand new PC and everything, so the first thing is, I need to understand if anybody can actually see and hear me. I'm kind of assuming you can. Let me just look at all my technical bits and bobs. Looks like you can. Can you let me know if I sound all right? That would be good. Okay, so as ever, we've got all the usual stuff to go through. I've got hoping for lots of questions. Happy to talk about anything you like. And of course, I'm going to go through some stuff that I didn't pick up from last time as well. But before we get on to all of that, I must just put out a call to Paul Scrivens and say thank you very much, Paul, for your super chat last time. This is the thing when people give you donations during these live streams. Paul actually gave you one, a live super chat, I should say, on the last chat, and I failed to point it out and didn't say hello, so sorry for that, Paul, and thank you very much. Really appreciate your donation. All right, so good, glad I got that out of the way. Okay, let me just have a look. Yes, sounds good, says Kevin. Thank you. Coming through fine, says Mike. I'll be interested. I mean, I'll have to watch the playback myself, but I'll be really interested to hear how echoey it is, because I used to quite like my old mic, and I was kind of forced to buy this new one because the old mic I couldn't get to work with a new PC. It was a nightmare when you buy a new PC these days. I have a first-class honours degree in computing, and it took me a week to transfer from an old PC to a new one, and the old one I'd had for 8 years because I've been putting it off for so long. But anyway, I'm on the new stuff now. This is the first sort of full cycle I've done, if you like. This is the first live stream I've done on the new machine. So if this one goes okay, there's no technical problems, then I think I've cracked the sort of migration. Anyway, I digress. It's nothing to do with bikes, more to do with my issues. Okay, let's have a quick look. All good, no echo. Oh, that's good. Excellent. Hi from Great Missenden. Hi, Chilton Turbo. Mike is peaking a tad, so I'm probably speaking too loud. Let me just move my little slider down a little bit. There you go. Bit less yellow I'm looking at now. Let's see if that works. Hello, Jared in Las Vegas. That's incredible. Oh, let's just do that thing again, which I like to do just while we're waiting for people to join the live stream. Who gets the prize for the most ridiculous time of day to be watching a live stream? So what's the most antisocial time of night, and also the distance? So if you can let me know what time of day it is, where you're watching from, and also as by way of a little survey, it'd be interesting to know what bike you ride. It'd be good to know who's out there, the sort of people I'm dealing with. So anyway, Vegas, I assume it's probably lunchtime-ish there. The people that are doing the unsocial time of the night will be around the other side of the world in New Zealand, etc. So we've got Rwanda 10 PM. Thank you very much. Oh, missed that one. Somebody said 8 PM here. I've got a feeling it disappeared off the top of my screen, but I have a feeling I know who that was. What's your? Oh my goodness me! This chat is absolutely flying tonight. Germany, 9 o'clock. Hey Tim, good to see you, mate. Thanks for joining. Mike, I'm viewing from the Dark Ages. Nice one. 4 PM says Simon. Wonder where you are. Then you're going to be east somewhere, maybe New York, I don't know. Sorry, west of us. Picture is blurred, or is it just me? Can anybody else let me know what the picture looks like? I think, again, looking at the little monitors I have here, it looks like it's normal. It's not particularly sharp, I don't think. I haven't got a great camera for this live stream thing. Again, for technical reasons, it's quite hard to get a camera. Well, I won't go into it. It's a whole other story. Anyway, Dallas, excellent. Somebody from Texas watching, East Midlands. Who else have we got? Florida, it's 4 PM. Gotcha. Pictures as normal. Thank you, Chopsy, for that. Good. John saying blurred slightly. Maybe you need some more glasses. And it's shooting by so quick now. Oh, thank you, Josh, for the first super chat of the day. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. All right, let's just answer a couple of... let's get back on the motorbikes. Let's answer a couple of the questions that came up last time I didn't get a chance to get to. And then I'll attempt to read some of these that are whizzing by. Okay, first one from Cornish Pasty, and I've got a lot of these, so I'll whiz through them quickly. Cornish Pasty, he said, Hard Not Pass or Balakna Bar. Now, of course, it depends in what context you are putting these names at me. Hard Not Pass being a famous ride here in England in the Lake District, and Balakna Bar being a famous ride up in the west of Scotland, basically the west coast of Scotland. If you do the North Coast 500, you'll do the Balakna Bar. If you're just asking which is my favourite, then Balakna Bar, no doubt about it. But that's not demeaning Hard Not Pass in any way. If you get a chance to ride them both, do so. If you can only do one or the other, do whichever's closest. But yeah, so Cornish Pasty, Balakna Bar I'm going for. So that's that one done. Jamie Moore, hi TMF. Would you say the Tiger 800 is good enough for 2-up riding? Yes, I would. if you're doing mostly two-up riding, then you might want to think about something bigger, maybe the Tiger 1200 if you're a big chap, because they are quite a heavy bike. If it's the occasional two-up stuff, or you're just going to go on a tour or something, then Tiger 800, absolutely fantastic for two-up riding, no problem at all. One more from this list, then I'll have a look for some questions here. Nigel G79, he says, I'm thinking of moving to an adventure-style bike. What's your recommendation between a GS, Super Duke GT or Multistrada? Well, I think, Nigel, you probably know the answer to that one, me being a GS owner and fan, so I'll come straight out with it. It's a GS, mate. And I'll tell you for why. The Super Duke GT, I rode that recently. It is a lovely bike, lots of technology, very similar technology to the latest GS actually, goes like stink, really nice bike to ride. The problem is it's not a nice bike to look at in my eyes. They've changed the design of it. It didn't look great before. Now it looks sort of like a charging rhinoceros. I've got a review of that bike coming up soon, actually. It is a lovely bike. If you like the looks of it, then maybe that's the one to go for. It's definitely better value than the GS, but goodness me, it's got the looks that only a mother could love. And then the Multistrada, the opposite. Multistrada, beautiful looking bike. Love the Multistrada. I've ridden the small and the big one, although not recently, has to be said. The issue I have with the Multistrada is it's just a bit top heavy. I'm not a very big chap, and when I came to a stop on the Multistrada, it felt like I was in danger of tipping the bike over. And that goes for both the big model, the 1260 and the 950, or is it the 960? 950, I think. So yeah, GS for me, but you knew I was going to say that anyway. Right, let's just cross you off. So that's 3 off me list. Get me specs, and let's see what we've got coming in on the old live stream. Okay, so Eric, June the 30th, Pikes Peak hill climbing, Colorado. You should come. I would love to do that, Eric. I love the idea of Pikes Peak. I read the Guy Martin book, and I'm a big Guy Martin fan, who did that, of course, didn't he, on his heavily modified turbocharged Suzuki, the Martec, he calls it. I think he won in his class, but it may have been a class for heavily modified turbocharged Suzuki, so I'm not sure how many others were in it. But it was an epic ride, and yeah, I'd love to come out and watch that. I'd just love to go to Colorado, actually. I've never been there. Hi out of Cape Town. What happened to the giveaway? Roland, thank you for that. I assume, Roland, you're talking about the Canary Motorcycle Tours holiday that we gave away, and the box of goodies when I passed 100,000 subscribers. Well, that I did announce the winner to that. I mentioned it on the live stream around the time, but I also sent out a note. I'm trying to remember actually all the places I put it on Twitter. I put the winner. The winner actually was somebody called Tesco Dave, by the way, who's I can't remember where he was from now. It might have been from Huddersfield, or so up north somewhere, and he was the winner. So that's what happened to that. Sorry if you missed the announcement. Volume too low, says somebody. Your mic is slightly clipping, but not bad. That it makes the sound bad, says Paul. Okay, thank you. TMF, any idea BMW introducing CarPlay to motorcycles anytime soon? How would I know, mate? I have no idea if they're introducing that. BMW don't. Well, I was going to say BMW don't talk to me. That was the case up until about 2 weeks ago, and their PR guy has recently started talking to me, so that's great. But I don't know. I don't have any insider knowledge on that. Can you say something about engine braking? New MT09 SP in Norway, says Christian. I made a video on this actually, so for full details on my thoughts on engine braking, and it's a big subject. This, go and check out my living with the Ducati Panigale playlist after this live stream, and in there I talk about how I ran in my Panigale. There's a couple of schools of thoughts on this, aren't there? I usually do it by the book because oh, thank you very much, another top chat coming in. Thank you, old Harley dude, very kind. So yeah, there's 2 schools of thoughts. Don't run it in, or run it in by the book. I ran my bike in by the book. In fact, all my bikes I have done, because I don't want to damage anything or undo any warranties. But how any bike manufacturer would know you hadn't run it in, I don't know. So that's a ridiculous thing to say. I don't think you're going to break anything. When these bikes go out on like press launches and stuff, and journalists ride bikes that are brand new, they don't spare the horses, trust me. They absolutely rag these bikes. There's another school of thought that says that actually what you should do is rag the bike. So do a bit of Googling on this. You'll find as many arguments for each way of doing it. As I say, I think the manufacturers tend to want you to baby the bikes, because if something's going to let go on the bike, it's going to let go early on, and they don't want it to be catastrophic. So it's more probably to do with product liability. If the chain's going to wrap itself around your leg or something, they don't want you to be doing it at 100 miles an hour. I suspect there might be a bit of that going on with the regimes that the manufacturers give you. Personally, I think just ride it with varying revs for a period of time. Do it for the first 500 miles, don't absolutely thrash it, but gradually give it more and more revs would be my thinking. This is my basic thoughts on this, and then after that just ride it as you wish. But watch my video on how I did my 899. I go into more detail on that, so hopefully that helps. Mildly miffed, bikes are redlined in production process. Okay, so you're saying that they actually rag them out, as I say. Then yeah, I'm sure they are. Again, whether you want to be doing that all the time with a brand new bike, I mean, just have a bit of mechanical sympathy, I think. But at the same time, you want to get the bores and everything lined properly. I think it does them good just to vary them the whole way. But as I say, you'll get as many views for one way as another on that. It's a whole can of worms. Oh, thank you, Matt Biker. Thank you very much. Crikey, it's been a busy old few days, isn't it? It's been amazing actually. Today I've had a great day today because I've been out riding another bike. We've got at the moment we're between storms here in Blighty, and it's a nice riding day today. So I'll show you what I've been out on today. Let me see if I can bring up a picture for you. Here we go. It's the Scrambler 1200 from Triumph, the new bike. If you've watched many of my videos, you'll know that I'm a massive fan of the Scrambler type bikes. I don't really like calf racers, but Scramblers do appeal, and I was a big fan of the old Scrambler and the Street Scrambler. Anyway, I've been waiting to ride this one ever since it came out back in November time, and I wasn't disappointed, is all I can say. So that's been absolutely cracking riding that today. So thanks to the guys down at Hearts Triumph for letting me ride that. And then the bike that I've got in the garage at the moment, let me show you that as well. This is a long-term loaner, so there'll be some videos coming up on this. Is this bike? This is the Vitpillen from Husqvarna. Vitpillen meaning white arrow, so it amuses me that they've given me a silver one. And this is a bike that quite surprised me actually. Because when I agreed to take the bike on for a few weeks and get to know it a bit, I thought this isn't going to be a bike I really like. It's a single-cylinder machine, so I thought it was going to be lumpy, which it is a little bit. But I didn't really like the looks of it. But I have to say, since I've been sort of living with this bike, it's grown on me, and it's really surprised me how nice it is to ride. It's got all the fun of a supermoto, but some sort of classy looks, I think. Even though you may not like the looks of this in this picture, it absolutely rides stonkingly well. So look out my videos on that soon. So that's what I've been doing the last few days. Anyway, let me come back to your comments, see what's coming in. The Biker Bug. My cousin is a Honda dealer in Germany. You should get the 1000. Okay, I think that's a conversation that I'll have to catch up with later. What else have we got? Is it available in KTM Orange, says Tim Roman? Well, of course. Well, not actually the Vitpillen, of course, isn't, but there is a... Well, let's not go there. I've had my wrist slapped by respective KTM and Husqvarna people for confusing the brands, so I'm not gonna I'm not gonna go down that route. Single cylinder bikes are so fun, says Jared. Yeah, I agree. I've got my little Honda CRF is the most fun bike that I own, the cheapest to buy, cheapest to run, and I think on pounds per mile it delivers better than any of my other bikes. It's absolutely fantastic. Single cylinders are fun and easy to look after as well as cheap to run. So yeah, agree with that. What else have we got here? V-twins are the dogs, says Duke Blade. Yes. Evening, Mr. 125. Per N, TMF, how tall are you? I wonder if this is relating to the fact that I rode that Scrambler. I'm not very tall. I'm sort of a middle to shortish fella, 5'8", and as the Americans say, I've got a 32-inch inseam. Well, I think I have anyway. I haven't actually measured it. Well, thank you, John. Very kind. Thank you. That'll go in the fuel tank. So I believe that's what we here in Britain call the inside leg measurement, 32 inches, which it seems from some of the comments I've had is relatively long, so maybe I'm long-legged but short-bodied. But anyway, I'm 5'8", so that hopefully answers that question. And I found the bike fine. I was on my tippy toes though. But one of the things, I don't want to spoil the video that's coming at 7 AM tomorrow, by the way. I've got this video edited today and I'll be publishing it tomorrow on that Triumph Scrambler. I was on my tippy toes, but because the weight isn't held really high like it is on, say, the big Triumph Tiger 1200, at no point did it feel ponderous. I felt completely, you know, when I came to junctions and stuff, it never felt like I was going to drop it. I was surprised, actually. And I think there are low seat options available as well, although I rode the standard bike. And I rode the XE, which is the taller one with the longer suspension travel. And by the way, on that subject, XE versus XC, I never understand these Triumph, the way they label their bikes. I was going to say nomenclature then, but I never quite know how to pronounce that. But the way I've now got it in my mind, XE, X expensive, and XC, X cheaper. That's the way I remember it. The XC's the more off-road, but the more blingy one, the one everybody's going to want. Okay, what else we got? Thanks, Tim F. Wanted to know that for a couple of months now. Okay, Per, good. I'm glad I've answered that. Uneasy Rider. Hope you've recovered from the all-day session, Covent Garden. Any more plans for... Oh, it's gone. Yes, if you've been following me on Instagram... By the way, I'm on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, which is something that these days it's sort of a necessary evil, isn't it, to be on all these platforms. I do post on there regularly when I upload new videos and things, and when I'm out riding other bikes and stuff, I usually put a little post up to show people what I'm riding that day, because the stuff that I roll out on the channel can be up to a couple of months old. You know, I have a sort of a recording and publishing schedule which does stretch out at the moment. Would you believe I know what I'm releasing up until sort of the middle of October? I've got videos planned, and I've got videos recorded up until about the end of May, and I do chop and change them, so dates do change, but I can't remember where I was going with this now. Oh yeah, so yes, you can keep up to date on what's coming up by watching, by following me on Facebook and Twitter, and then Instagram, which is the new one of the bunch for me. I tend to put other stuff on there. It's a slightly different system if you're not familiar with Instagram. It's more just for posting pictures, but on there I put stuff that's maybe slightly more personal, so you may or may not be interested. It is predominantly bike stuff, but also if I go out in the aeroplane I'll put pictures on there. Or this week, and this is where I was coming to, I did go out last Thursday and had a bit of a sesh with Teapot One and Richie Vida. Richie was down south, and we went and had a few beers in Covent Garden, and unfortunately, Richie was horrendously late, and I got quite bladdered before he arrived. But anyway, we had fun, and it was good to meet those guys. So I don't know what the question was. Again, I'll read that. Oh, a cracking word to drop in. Thanks, Nick. I'm glad. Did I pronounce it correctly? I don't know. I hardly dare say it again. Nomenclature. Was that right? Anyway. Okay, what else have we got? The Biker Bub. That will probably be next bike in 5 to 6 years. What is that? The what are we talking about? The Vitpillen or the Scrambler? I suspect the Scrambler. I think the Scrambler is probably going to be the more popular video of those two. The Vitpillen seems to divide opinion, but as I say, I've actually been impressed with it. I'm 5'7", says Craig, and a newer rider. What bikes would you recommend that are confidence inspiring for a shorter rider? Well, if it's like your first big bike, Craig, then I think I would look towards things, well, look at the power output of the bikes. I'm a big fan of the Suzuki SV650, which isn't too much of a big bike. It also looks lovely and it goes well. Not intimidating to ride, something like that. Maybe an MT-07 if you like the looks of that bike. Or indeed something like the Triumph Street Twin if you like the... if you like retro bikes, or the T100, the smaller of the Bonnevilles, they're fantastic bikes, beautifully made. So something along those lines. Look at the power output, I'd say. But what I would say, and I've said this many times before, I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I would buy second hand to start with. Get yourself a 600, 650, that sort of range. Round about, I don't know, between 40 and 80 brake horsepower. Ride it for 6 months, learn your craft, and then once you're happy with that, then move on and get whatever big bike you like, because you will get fed up or bored or want more power eventually. But those are the sort of bikes I would look at if I was you. What else you got? Oh, I just saw Sleeping Dragon and Buddy's Insight shot by. Brilliant. Oh, he said Z1000 for short people. Thanks, Buddy. That's a good recommendation. I haven't actually ridden that. Tim says the SV650 is superb. I'm glad we concur. What else we got? I'll try and get one going. It's zipping up from the bottom. You will always drop it, says Joseph. Yeah, that's true. It's a bit like what they say about pilots landing with the wheels up. There are those that have done it and those that will do it, and it's the same with motorcyclists and dropping bikes. People that say they've never dropped a bike will do one day. Don't worry, we all do it at some point or other. In fact, I think of all my I've dropped all my bikes at some point. Luckily, never catastrophically. It's usually just it cost me a bar end or something. But yeah, we all drop them from time to time. Harley review soon, says Lee. Well, I haven't got anything in the diary, but I'm desperate to ride a Harley. I was up. The other day I was in, where was I? I was knocking about around Watford way, and somebody said that a new Harley dealer is going to open up there. Watford's not that far from me, about 10 miles away to the east. So if a new Harley dealer opens up there, I shall be befriending them and getting that Harley ride. There are other ways I can ride Harleys, of course. There are other dealers further afield that I can go to, but if I can get a local one, then I've got that whole range that I can work my way through. If you are a Harley dealer, and either you can deliver me a bike or you're nearer than Watford, let me know. I'd like to talk to you. Let me just have a swig of water. Right, it's blooming warm in here, I have to say. I've got obviously a lot of lights on here and they let out a lot of heat, but I've got a new, as part of my new setup, as well as the new mic, I've got a new light as well, which you can't see, obviously it's behind the camera, up in that direction, because I noticed this part of my face is normally a bit dark, so I'm hoping that actually the picture quality might be a little bit improved. But again, interested in your comments on that. If I don't read your comments, by the way, when they whip up as you type them in now, I will watch the this recorded version back. It takes sort of an hour or two for YouTube to render it and post it as a proper video. I'll watch it back. I'll make sure I get any of your comments then. If there are any outstanding questions or questions, sometimes people keep asking me questions and I don't see it on the live stream because it's really difficult to read them as well as do the talking. I will pick them up, don't worry. Put it in capital letters or something. I'll pick it up next time and I'll answer it on the next live stream. Talking of which, let me do a couple more questions from the list here from last time, and then I'll come back to the live stream stuff. Right, Ian McKay, have you been to the bike shed in London, and do you like what they do? Oh, thank you very much for that, Bully27. Much appreciated. Ian, no is the answer. I haven't been to the bike shed in London. They're down in Old Street, and I used to work in Old Street years ago. And my word, it was a funny old place in those days, I can tell you. Been somewhat gentrified now, and that's why the bike shed's there. But I very much like what they do. I have to say, I'm not into the whole hipster stuff, but I have no problem with it. If people, you know, are interested in fashion and beards, then all power to your elbow, go for it. But I very much do like the bikes that they knock out there. I love custom bikes. I have no skill to customise a bike myself, but I do like the look of them. How practical they are to ride, I don't know. But yeah, definitely I want to get down to the bike shed, and in fact I've been in conversation with some of the guys there about a visit. Well, when I say that, it was more, we exchanged some comments on a video, and turns out at least one of the bike shed guys is one of my subscribers, so I said I would pop down there and say hello at some point. I think I'll go in the summer. Slightly afraid because of the London thing. I know this sounds ridiculous, but all, you know, all the bike crime and stuff that goes on, but of course at the bike shed there they've got amazing undercover secure parking, haven't they, for bikes, so I needn't worry about that, and it looks like a great place to do lunch, so I will definitely go to the bike shed. I've just got to schedule it in. It'll probably be in summer. I'll go and do lunch, and I'll no doubt take my cameras, and we'll see what we find. So yeah, I do like what they do. Thanks for your question, Ian. One more from my list. Diesel0022 says, TMF, how easy is it to operate your drone? Well, it's very easy to operate. It's a consumer item. Operating it well, another question. They do take a little bit of practice. There is a bit of an art to it, but basically they're very easy to fly. You've got to be very cognizant of the rules for flying drones. I think drones, personally, I've mentioned this before, I think in this country we've probably got a limited life on drones. I think they'll probably be banned in due course. In some countries they're already banned. I think in Germany you're not allowed to fly them. I know when I've thought about taking my drone skiing in the Alps, because I thought it'd be great to have it do that follow me thing when you're skiing down a mountain. Can't fly them in the Alps, and there's lots of places like that. National parks in Spain you can't fly them, or you get big fines if you do, so you've got to be careful. I think maybe drones for consumers, maybe their life time is limited, unless you go, we'll probably go down the licensing route. So if you want to get into drones, do it now is my advice. One more from the list, then I'll come back to the live stream. Cheerful Charlie, hi TMF, have you got plans to test the Caballero? I think it's pronounced 500. I haven't got any plans to test it. I've seen pictures of it. It looks a fab bike. So if anyone knows how I can get hold of a Caballero 500 to ride, yeah, I'd love to. All right, back to the live stream then. What we got? Huskies run free. Keep drones away from airports. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's kind of an obvious one, but for sure, as a pilot myself, I'm very again, I'm very aware of that, and obviously I know where the airports are, so I do keep away, but 100%. What else have we got? Tim, missing some of announced videos. Honda YouTube inside. I may have been a bit premature with announcing some of them then, Tim. As I say, I do have this little schedule of videos, and both on this live stream and on the bike news stuff that I do, you know, when I do the news review of the papers, I tend to say what videos are coming up, and I use these two opportunities, the live stream and the bike news, as sort of a time to pass on information about the channel. I've got some parish notices coming at the end of this live stream as well, and sometimes those dates do move. If something else crops up that I think there's a time limit to, then I might bump a video back and move one in. So that might be why some of the videos I mentioned before you haven't seen yet, but they will be coming. As I say, at the end of this live stream I'll go through my parish notices and I'll tell you some of the things that are coming up on the channel. Okay, Ed Clark, how do you secure your bike overnight when touring? Well, that's a good question, Ed, and one that people ask me quite a lot. I think, you know, if somebody really wants to steal your bike, they'll have it, won't they? But number one, I try to stay in places, hotels, etc., that have secure parking. So if there's an underground car park, something like that, or a garage, lock up, stick them in there. If you can't, then put them near a security camera, or indeed completely out of sight. But wherever I park it, I also use multiple locks. I've got a big heavy Oxford chain that I lock, used to lock the back wheel, usually 2 something if I can, and then I have a disc lock that I put on the front as well. Plus my bikes have trackers, so basically, the more things you can do to make your bike look less attractive to thieves, then the less likely they are to steal it. One of the best things, if you can be bothered to carry one, I don't do this, but I know people that do and swear by it, is to cover your bike. If people can't see what the bike is, that apparently tends to be quite a disincentive to steal your bike. So that's another idea. But yeah, I try and find number one, I try and find hotels with secure parking, and then regardless, lock it up, make it as hard as you can to pinch it, but no guarantees. There is a bit of a risk when you do that, isn't there? Make sure your insurance is up to date. Thinking of a 2018 Africa Twin Adventure Sports for touring, says Hash Brown. Yeah, good call. Are you tall though? I would say. I love the Africa Twin Adventure Sport. Great value bike, lots of technology. Felt very much like the GS to ride actually, but a lot less money to buy. Only issue with it is very tall bike, much taller in fact than that Scrambler I was talking about earlier. The Africa Twin Adventure Sports I really like, but I did feel unsteady when I stopped on that one. I was right on my tippy toes. Not sure if there's a lowering kit now for it. There possibly is, but if you're a shorter fella, or certainly shorter than me at 5'8", just think carefully about that one. Otherwise, if you're a tall bloke, then go for it. They're a lovely bike. Colin, Honda CB650R. Any thoughts? Only that it looks very nice. I've seen the MCN review. Michael Neves rode one recently, didn't it? Looks good. Like to ride it myself. Haven't done so yet. The nearest Honda dealer, well, I've got a couple of nearest Honda dealers, but they're not that accessible for me. Funnily enough, I've got a meeting with Honda UK in the next couple of weeks. They want to see me. I'm not sure what that's going to throw up, but maybe there'll be a way there of borrowing some bikes. But yeah, I'd love to ride the 650R. So stay tuned. Hopefully that'll happen soon. Okay, what else? Mike Talbot, what's the next tour, TMF? Good question. What is the next tour? Well, it's happening in April. So where are we now? Next month is the next tour. I don't know if I want to tell you about it yet. Is there any reason why I shouldn't tell you about it? It's definitely happening. All I'll say is it's in Italy. Okay, so yeah, stay tuned for that. So I'll be recording it in April. Again, if you watch me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, etc., I'll no doubt post pictures at the time. It's going to be a good one, is all I can say. And yeah, I look forward to getting you videos on that soon. So you may see the first videos in April, or you might see them in May, but that's the next tour coming up. Bonneville T100 or Speedmaster, says... who is that? St. Vicasi? Sorry if I'm getting your name wrong there. I haven't got my glasses on my actual face, so it's hard to read. But T100 or Speedmaster? Both quite different bikes, actually. Depends if you've got a bit of an American vibe going, then go Speedmaster. If you're more of a British gent, then Bonneville T100. I really did like the Speedmaster, but then I really did like the T100 too, and it's a while since I rode the T100. Tough one. I'll have to ride them both again to give you a definitive answer. I think Speedmaster. But that's because I've become a bit of a cruiser convert, and I've got a thing about getting a cruiser. I'm really keen to ride the new, or what's it? You know, the massive Triumph, the one that they've got that new factory custom bike version of. It'll come to me in a minute. The Rocket 3, that's it. It came to me in a moment of inspiration. But it wouldn't surprise me if that's not my next bike. When they bring out the new Rocket 3, I really want to have a ride on one of them. If it's as good as it looks, then I might have to make a little space in my garage for one of them. I know it's a cruiser. I know all that. But I've got a GS. I'm halfway to sad anyway. I might as well have a cruiser as well. It's a glaring gap in my collection, I think. Okay, Dan. Hi, Dan. What does your wife think of all the gallivanting, and how can I get away with it? Well, she quite likes it, Dan. One day I'll let you into a bit of a secret. Not at the moment though, but later in the year, back end of the year, I'll let you into a bit of a secret about how I get away with all this. But you are going to have to wait a little bit, and then you can replicate what I'm doing. Buddy's Insight. Hey buddy, good to see you. It's great that all these names coming up here, a lot of these are familiar people, like Plymouth Jano, for example, who's asked how long do you keep a helmet for. I'm not going to answer him because he's on my blacklist. I've got this book here, and in it I keep a note of people that made nasty comments about me on other channels, and then I don't answer their questions. Anyway, so there we go. I'm only joking, Plymouth. You know that you are on the list, but I don't really hate you. And I did make a video on how long to keep a helmet for, so you might want to check that out. The official line is 5 years, but watch my video on it and you'll get all the answers there. How pretty is Twap, says Mark Russell. Well, that's a matter of opinion, isn't it? So I'll make no comment on that. She's very protective about her facial image, so I'll say no more. Moto Michelle says lol. Lol indeed. Not sure what that was referring to. Irish Tour soon, says Barton, new rider. The Italian one has trumped it, I'm afraid. I don't think I'm going to be able to get an Irish touring this year. I desperately want to go back to the Western Isles if I can wangle that as well, because I want to go and do those outer islands that I messed up with last time because I couldn't get ferries and stuff. So there's a few tours in this country I want to do. I've got a few tours at home and abroad, including one a long way away for the end of the year, which I'm trying to get all the moving parts aligned, so that one's going to happen. But probably not going to do Ireland this year, which is a shame. What else have we got? Erwin, what do you think about the new Suzuki Katana? Well, when I first saw it, I saw a picture of it in MCN a couple of months ago. I have to say, I thought, what on earth is that? What a hideous looking machine. I've since seen other pictures of it at shows and stuff. I haven't actually seen it in the flesh myself yet, but it's sort of growing on me. And I do want to ride one. And I know the guys from Suzuki, once the thing's available, will probably let me ride one as well. So I'm holding my thoughts on that. There are a lot of people that were around big into bikes when the Katana was around first time around. I wasn't one of those, so I don't have any historical kind of love for the Katana. So it'll be completely fresh to me. I'll be going at it from the viewpoint of this is a new bike. What's it like? At the moment, I'm thinking it doesn't appeal that much, the looks, but again, it might be a bit like the Vitpillen, which didn't appeal in the pictures, but once you ride it and you see it in the flesh, it grows on you. So we'll see. Watch this space on that. So I'm just going to have a drink again. How are we doing on time? Blimey, 1:30 already. Going to have to wrap up certainly within the hour. Okay, what have we got? Jerry Adams, join me at Bonneville Salt Flats this year. You'll love it. I absolutely would, Jerry. Bonneville, wouldn't that be something great? What are you going to be riding there, by the way? And are you going for any records, or are you just there as a spectator? I love the look of that. Yeah, I'd love to go to Bonneville Salt Flats someday. What else we got? Cub Rider, get Ben back on. Well, I'll be in touch with Ben, don't worry. I am in touch with him generally. And what we'll do is, once he resumes his round the world trip again, hopefully every now and then we'll get updates from him and I'll make more videos because he's a fascinating fella. Is Mrs. TMF in the cellar, says the Chiltern Turbo? No, sadly I haven't got a cellar. That would be great to have a cellar, wouldn't it? Hey TMF, can you do a GRP/fan ride out? I assume that means a group ride out. It says Foxy MG. Yes, I could. This one comes up every time. In a nutshell, I would quite like to do this, but I need to organise it properly because I'm not too sure how many people would turn up. So I need to find a way of judging how many people would turn up and then act accordingly, because between you and me, it could go one or two ways, couldn't it? I could have 3 people turn up and it'd be a bit embarrassing if I'd made a big hullabaloo about it. Or I could have, like, I don't know, 50, 100 people turn up for a ride out and suddenly the police and the local authority would have wanted to know. So there's a bit of planning required. I quite like the idea of a bit of an event. It's not going to happen this year, but maybe in the coming years some sort of a meet-up in a sort of a structured way. I've been talking to a few people about this, so I definitely think in the future I'll do that. I mean, in the meantime, I'll try and get to the bike shows, so if you want to come and say hello, do that, and I'll let you know via this live stream and my channel, etc., where I'm going to be and when. And I'm not saying I'll never just do a ride out, but I have to just be a little bit careful about where and how many people might turn up. I think if I just said, and again, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I've got over 100,000 subscribers now. If I said, oh, let's meet up at Lumi's, next Saturday at 2 o'clock, there's a danger I could overwhelm it with a number of people. Again, I don't want to sound big-headed, but that is a risk, so just something to bear in mind. But yeah, at some point we'll do that. Okay, what else we've got? Rod Pollard says loads would turn up. Well, possibly. It'd be great if they would. It'd be absolutely amazing. But you need to bear that in mind, don't you, and plan accordingly. Thoughts on the new Ruroc Atlas helmet, says Squirmy. I haven't got any thoughts, but I don't think I've seen them. No, I haven't seen those. Are they an unusual design? I'll look out for them, and I'll get back to you on that one. What else have we got? Woodbury West Midlands. Not sure that's what you're referring to there, Paul. JS, did you have an interest in bikes during your younger years? Not saying you're old, obviously. Thank you very much. Yeah, I've always been interested in bikes. I've loved bikes ever since I was about 8. Maybe before then. I always used to draw pictures of motorbikes and I always wanted a motorbike. And then when I was a sort of young teenager, I'd knock about the fields with my pals on mopeds and stuff. My mum and dad never knew about that. I hope they're not watching. And that was all great. But then when I got old enough to have one, I wasn't allowed to have one. My parents wouldn't let me, which is rather annoying. And then when I met what then became Mrs. TMF, she wouldn't let me have one either for ages. It was kind of bike or me. In the end, I just said, look, I'm old enough, I'm getting a bike, and she's still with me. So yeah, I've always been interested in them. I haven't had them that long. Where are we now? 28, about 10 years I've been riding now. But I would have had them all the life. all my life had I been man enough to have gone and bought one. Okay, what else we got? Steve66, Rikers would be a good beating point. I've never been there actually. I need to go and do some of these. It's like what's that other biking place? Loomies is the other one, isn't it? That everybody seems to mention. Haven't been to either of those. Should check those out in the summer maybe. But again, I'll do it on the quiet. Hello, somebody's printing something. This is outrageous. Hang on a minute. I've got to sort my printer out. I'll probably have a teenager come down here in a minute for their own work. What happened to the CRF 250L, says C. Coronado. Nothing's happened to it. It's in the garage. Rode it today, in fact. Love that bike. It's the bike I probably ride more than any of my others because it's lightweight, it's easy to get hold of, and they've got a top box on the back so I can carry stuff. It's the bike I just grab and go to the shops on. So it's still going strong. I will be doing some more videos on it soon in the summer. Lee Natal, top of Dunstable Downs, great place for a meet. Possibly, yeah. Again, I don't know that area very well. Box Hill in Surrey, I do know Box Hill. I would love you to road test the Fantic, says Jonathan. Yeah, that's what somebody else mentioned. That isn't the Caballero 500? Isn't that Fantic? I love the look of those bikes. So yeah, hopefully I'll get to do some of those. What else have we got? What is your opinion about flat trackers, street trackers, and racing flat track? Says Loderate. Loderate? Load rate. I love them. Again, they're another genre of bikes that I really like. I'm, as I mentioned before, a scrambler fan, but flat trackers too are fabulous. By the way, is this printing making too much noise? I hope you can hear me okay. So yeah, I love flat trackers. It's not a big thing in this country, so I've never actually been to a flat track meet, so to speak. But yeah, I'd love to. I love the looks of those bikes. That's my next favourite genre probably. Okay, what else have we got? Any Lincolnshire trips planned? Great roads here, says Jason. Did you see my tour of Lincolnshire? I did do, well, I don't know if I called it Tour of Lincolnshire, but I did do a ride of sort of northern Britain taking in Lincolnshire. I sort of went down through Hull and over the Humber Bridge in Lincolnshire about 2 years ago, and I did a series on it. So check out my trips and tours playlist in case I came by your front door then. But I haven't got any tours planned there at the moment. Not to say I never will, of course. Nick Holmes, can you find a bike and give it a terrible review? I wish I could, Nick. There really are. When you're looking at new bikes, there are very few bad new bikes out there. I challenge you to find me one. If you can find a bike that you think is truly awful, let me know, a brand new bike, and I'll go and ride it and I'll give it a whirl. I'm sure they are out there. I just haven't found one yet. That Jamie, hi TMF. We got a GSXR at the moment, missing my V-Strom riding position. Thinking about Street Fighter, the GSXR. What do you think? So I had to read that very quickly in case it's shot off the screen. Could do, depends how new it is, I suppose. I think if I had a brand new GSXR, it would be a little bit sacrilege if I took the knife to it, but then I'm a mechanical numpty. You may be more skilled than me. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't. You could end up with a fantastic bike, couldn't you? Or maybe, again, if it's a relatively high value bike, trade it in or sell it and just buy a naked bike. There are plenty of great bikes out there now, aren't there? Hey, Moonfleet 41's here. Hey up, buddy. Sunshine's in Dorset. West Bay rocks. Lucky you. It's been a lovely day here too, so don't be thinking just because you're in Dorset you're the only people that get sun, Del. But great to have you along, mate, and keep up with the videos. I'm watching every time you upload them. Steve Dunn says hello. Bill Kerr, Harley Davidson has a bunch of terrible bikes. Well, I wouldn't know, Bill, would I? Del can no doubt talk to you about that. We'll find out when I get to ride one eventually, whether that be Del's or from that new dealer as I was telling you about in Watford. Buddy's Insight, hello. 31st of March, first day of summer in the UK. Yeah, that is good news, isn't it? Clocks will be changing here. I know some countries have already done that. I don't know why. So as a planet, we're a bit out of sync at the moment. But yeah, clocks go back soon. Once the evenings start drawing out, that is fantastic, and that is good news, and it's happy days, isn't it? Okay, what else have we got here? Are you worried about Storm Gareth, says the Chiltern Turbo. Not overly. I think that's striking tomorrow, isn't it? As long as it doesn't go beyond Thursday, because I'm off on a cheeky skiing trip this weekend. Just me, a lad's trip, so don't burgle my house, because there will be people here. Yeah, I went skiing this time last year, and I had real troubles getting out Heathrow because of weather. I hope I don't have a repeat of that. What else have we got? Piggy bike rides. Clocks go forward, not back. You're right. Spring forward, fall back. You're absolutely correct. I always get that wrong. I would have worked it out eventually. All right. Ever ridden a Jawa, says False Neutral. No, I haven't. Sadly, I'd like to. In fact, I'd like to ride any sort of classic bikes. I must sort that out at some point. It's quite hard to get hold of second-hand bikes or older bikes to actually ride. For obvious reasons. There's some logistics involved in lining them up, meeting up with people, etc., etc., and it takes time and effort and so on. And I don't have an awful lot of spare time, believe it or not. Have you tried proper MX? Have you been to Flackwell, says Paul. I have been to Flackwell Heath. There's a local motocross track up there. And in fact, I did years ago. I made a video up there as well, Paul. You'd have to look way back in my back catalogue to see that. But I've never tried it myself. In fact, it was going up there and watching them that inspired me to buy my CRF partly, because I just love the looks of those bikes, even though, you know, I'd be absolutely rubbish at it. And it looks flipping dangerous, frankly. I do like the bikes themselves, and dirt bikes in generally appeal. It's back to the Scrambler thing, I think. I think this all harks back to when I was that 8-year-old watching, what was that TV programme that used to be on? And there used to be, Peter Purvis used to present it, didn't he? And there were people on dirt bikes scrambling around on old Triumphs and stuff. It used to be great. What the heck was that called? Anyway, I'm sure somebody will mention it in the comments. I hope you do anyway, because I wish I could remember that. And they should bring that back. Is Peter Purvis still alive even? I don't know. Kickstart, that was it. Thank you very much, Colin. Yeah, wasn't that good? They should bring that back, shouldn't they? How many people have we got watching by that? 841. That's amazing. Thank you very much for watching. It blows my mind that I get, you know, consistently on these live streams, 850-ish people watching. It's absolutely brilliant that you'll take, you know, with 3/4 of an hour out of your time to watch me rambling on about a load of rubbish. So thank you very much. Let me do a couple more off the list and then I'll come back to the live stream. You keep asking them, I'll keep answering them. Let's have a quick swig of water. Right, next one, Tubby Graver. This one's from, great name, Tubby. I'm sure that wasn't what you were christened as. That was the word I was looking for. Can we have more pilot/flying videos, please? They're ace. Well, thank you, Tubby. I'm glad you think that. And yeah, I'd love to do some more. Again, this is even more weather dependent than biking is. I am very much a fair weather flyer. I don't have a lot of. I don't find it fun flying in inclement weather. I have done it a few times, and you only have to do it a few times to realise that it's not very much fun. So yeah, I'll be doing much more flying in the summer, and I will slip the odd video in. I'm very conscious that this is a biking channel. I don't want to annoy people that come here to watch motorcycles by sticking loads of flying stuff in. But when I have put them in, I usually get positive comments. I don't get great views on them, which is why I stopped doing flying videos in the first place. But yeah, I'll sneak one or two in, Tubby, so stay tuned. But there'll be more in the summer, so yeah, do watch out for those. Barry Hay, have you been to the Isle of Man TT? And if not, do you have any plans to? I haven't been. Oh, thank you, Barry. That's very kind of you, very generous. Thank you very much. That'll be going in the old fuel tank towards me TT fund. Because no, I haven't been to the Isle of Man TT. I love the idea of road races. I've never been to one. I really must get off my backside and organise that. People ask me it quite a lot. I really should go. But no, I haven't got any plans to go this year. Every year I remember it, and it's too late by the time I remember it. In fact, that would be a great place actually to fly to, wouldn't it? Because then I could get in there quite easily. I wouldn't have to worry about the ferries on the bike and stuff. Although something about it says that if I'm going to go to the Isle of Man TT, I should really ride my bike there. But if I took the aeroplane, it would be easy to go in, watch the racing, fly out again, no hassle. So tempting. Anyway, thank you for the question, Barry. One more, and then I'll come back to the live stream. Ross Stanford asked, any plans to ride the R1250 RS or R? And that's Ross from Sydney. Yeah, again, I've got plans to ride all these bikes. As soon as they're available to me, I will ride them. The R1250 RS actually is a bike that does appeal. I like the R1200 RS, great bike. So as soon as my local dealer, which is in Barnstormer at Maidenhead, give me a call and say they've got a demo, then I'll be getting down there to bring you a review. And maybe I've started talking to Bmw UK, as I think I might have mentioned earlier as well. And it might be that I'm going to be getting onto their loan fleet soon, so it might be that I can borrow one from them and actually get a long-term review in, which would be nice as well. Again, it's just down to scheduling and when I can do that. So thank you, Ross in Sydney, for that question. Right, back to the live stream. Mike Talbot, keep rambling, please. I can ramble all day, mate. Don't worry about that. The 1250 engine is fantastic, says Andrew Beresford. Yes, it is fantastic, and everybody says that. I personally don't think it's quite as fantastic as everybody makes it out. I think it's more fantastic when you really open it up, and I'm not that sort of rider. But yeah, it is a nice engine. There's no doubt that that's a faster or a better engine than in the 1200. Each iteration of the bike, obviously it gets better, doesn't it? So yeah, one day I'll go down that route. Lee Ross, plans to ride Bonneville bikes. Which ones are you talking about? The old school ones, things like the Triple, the Tornado, fantastic bike, or the new ones? There's more, they're made in China now, aren't they, I think, although still Italian designed. Which ones are you referring to? But Yeah, I'd love to. Again, I love all bikes, as you might have spotted. I'm happy to ride any of these things. Ever rode a quad bike? Asked Moto Michelle. Yes, I have. Quite fun. Not as fun as a motorcycle, though, let's be honest. But I would do it again if the chance came up. Tracer 900 GT says, Moggy, love mine. Yes, lovely bike. I enjoyed riding that. I did that a while back. Don't know if you saw my review, Moggy, but yeah, really nice bike. Graham Shaw, good morning from New Zealand. Bmw R1200gs or Bmw S1000xr? Well, depends which one you go for. The XR, obviously, is the quicker bike and has much of the same technology. Offers a lot that the GS does, and the riding position is very similar. Love that bike, but personally, I don't like the front end of it. That squinty front end. And when I rode it when it first came out, it was very vibey. They fixed the vibe since, I think, and now I think the latest ones might not be quite as squinty. If you can live with the looks, then I think the XR. If not, GS would be my answer on that one. What else have we got? Really like your bike ownership reviews. Great channel, says Adrian. Thank you very much, Adrian. Whilst I get comments like that, I shall keep making the videos. Stephen Bartholomew, how about a test of a bike with a sidecar? Funny you should say that, Stephen. I've been trying to get this sorted for ages, and I do potentially have a route and a way of doing that, so stay tuned. Maybe it'll happen this year. Michael Edwin, what's your height inseam? Have you ever limited you from buying tool bikes? I answered this earlier, Michael. I'll repeat it again. I'm 5'8" with a 32-inch inseam. I've never had an issue riding any bikes. Look at the recording of the live stream. We talk about them more at the start. Mark Austin, going to my first MotoGP race at Circuit of the Americas next month. Have you been to a MotoGP race? Yes, I have, Mark. I used to be a keen, avid follower of MotoGP. I've only been to the British Grand Prix a few times. Enjoyed it, but now in this country it's quite hard to watch MotoGP because a company called BT bought the rights. It used to be available on free-to-air BBC television, and it was great, the coverage. BT have got it now. The coverage, I think, is still probably pretty good, but it's quite expensive to watch. I don't actually watch that much TV. I watch mostly YouTube, if I watch anything, if I'm not making YouTube. So unfortunately, I don't subscribe, so I don't watch it, which is a shame. But do go, yeah, everybody should go to one MotoGP race in the time. Enjoy it, and Circuit of the Americas would be amazing. Moggy, saw the review, deciding on which MRA screen to get. Okay, I can't remember, was it you I was talking to about the MRA Vario screen versus the other one? I'm a Vario screen fan. That little spoiler on the top, you've got to adjust it correct. You've got to get it parallel to the screen, so it encourages something called laminar flow, and it means that basically takes the turbulence out of the airflow. Works a real treat. I've used them on many of my bikes in the past. I don't have any relationship with MRA Vario screen or MRA. They just work. What's this here that's highlighted? Missenden Fly, would be nice to see test ride of used cheap bikes, some old classics, says MK. Not all have money to buy expensive bikes. I completely get that, MK, and this is the point I was trying to sort of make earlier. It's quite hard to get hold of old bikes to ride. Logistically, how do I get hold of a second-hand bike to ride? I can put a question out and say, please bring your bikes around for me to ride. I did that before. I did a series called Readers Rides that is still ongoing. I'll probably do some more of those, which was my attempt to get some older second-hand bikes into the man cave to review. Really enjoyed doing it, met some great people and saw some great bikes, but when I put the feelers out, most people that came back to me actually had very fancy bikes, and it wasn't so much, I'd like to ride things like an old BMW GS. In fact, I have got one of those pending. Things like the old phasers and things like that, bandits, those sort of bikes is what I'd like to ride, but they're very difficult for me to get hold of. It's not just I say that now and then maybe I'll get a load of mails of people saying, I got a phaser you can ride, etc. But these people will be in Yorkshire or something, and I'm down here in South Buckinghamshire actually organising for people to visit or me to visit them. It's very, very difficult to do the used bike thing. So I'm not saying I won't do any more. If I could get some sort of relationship with the dealer that sold used bikes, that would probably be useful. But again, it'd have to be fairly local, or we'd have to have some way of getting me the bikes. It's tricky. When you're a one-man band like I am, I really do have limited resources to do this sort of thing. And I'm not just talking about money here, but time. It's quite difficult to do all this stuff when you're trying to do everything yourself, organising, what's coming up, what you're gonna video, actually doing the videoing, the editing, all the social media, this sort of thing. There's quite a lot that goes into this YouTube game, much more than would meet the eye. Have a go at it yourself, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, what else have we got coming up on the wires here? Mike Talbot, how about a ride out with Richie Vida on a VFR 800? Love the V4, and I actually love the VFR 800. That's a bike that I quite fancy buying a second-hand one of those, actually, because they do sound amazing, don't they? How often I would ride it, I don't know, but I do like them. I'm a fan of the VFR 800, despite me taking the mickey out of Rich and his, but yeah, love it. BT coverage of MotoGP is light years ahead of BBC, says Rumian 13. Yeah, I'm sure it is, but it's also much more expensive, isn't it? Any thoughts on the CCM Spitfire, Bobber, Cafe Racer, etc.? Says Sinjin. Sorry if I got your name wrong there. Yeah, I love the CCM bikes, and in fact those guys got in touch with me and did invite me up to the factory. It's up in Bolton, isn't it? And I couldn't make it at the time. Let me just have another glass of water. I think I like all the Spitfire. The only one I don't like is that foggy one. They know, that racer type one that they brought out. There was a picture of Carl Fogarty riding it in an MCN a couple of months back, and it just didn't look right. But the original Spitfire I like, the flat tracker version I like, the Scrambler I like. Not so keen on the Bobber and calf races. I'm not so keen on, but generally love the looks of those CCMs. Love a go on one, but again, getting time, logistics, organising it tricky. Okay, still coming to California this year, says the Hexter one. I certainly am. I shall be there in the summer. I sense a garage extension being needed. Rocket, VFR 800. Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it, Bully? Tim Jones, when are you riding the Pembrokeshire coast? Don't know. Again, I haven't got any firm plans. Somewhere I've definitely got to do. That's one of those things that... you know, in this country you've got to do. Again, another little idea I had was riding around the complete coast of the UK. I could do it in sections, but I think that would be a good tour series to do. Maybe one, I could even spread it over a few years, couldn't I? On that one, I'd definitely get the Pembrokeshire coast in. Right, let me do one or two more off my list. How are we doing for time? 10 to 9. I better get onto parish notices shortly. Right, Tim. Oh, you're on my list as well. Tim Roman again. Do you secure your GoPro with a lanyard? Seen your Hero 7 on the vibrating BMW mirror. Are those suction mounts strong enough? Asked him a couple of live streams ago. I don't secure it with a lanyard actually, because those suction mounts are strong enough. I've never had that suction mount let go. When it's on the bike, and say I do stick it to a mirror or a windscreen, it might look precarious, but the mount is very strong. And of course, if it fell off there, you'd notice it. When I do secure it, is when I'm doing those, when I did those Reader's Rise things, for example, and you maybe saw the bike being ridden. That was done from my car, and I would stick the camera on that suction mount on the back windscreen of the car. Then I did lanyard it to the rear windscreen wipe, because I'm driving the car, and it could just fall off into the road, and then the rider would ride over it. So, yeah, I'd secure it if it was in a dodgy spot. But when it's actually in my field of view and I can see if it's getting loose or wherever, I don't tend to. I probably should do. That might cost me one day, Tim. One more from Mark Pasquinani. Advice on getting the best deal on a new 1250 from a dealer. Don't know what makes you think I'm good at giving you advice on that. What I would say on that is wait until Christmas, which is the end of the BMW financial year. Dealers will be quite keen to make up their targets. Try and get you negotiating then at the end of the calendar year, because that's their financial year end as well. That's always a good time to try and get a deal. That'll be my one on that. Hope that helps. Right, back to the live stream for a few more, and then I'll wrap up with some parish notices as well. So, Steve Boatman, what's the best video editing software for YouTube? Well, I don't know what the best is. I can tell you what I use. I use something called Power Director. As part of my big upgrade I was telling you about, I've upgraded my editing software as well. I'm now using Power Director 17. Up until now, I've been using Power Director 12. It's fine. I'm not an editing wizard, as you've seen from my videos. I don't do really flash productions because I'm just not very good at it, frankly. I'm sure you probably can do them in Power Director 17. I am PC based, not Mac. I think if I was starting out again and didn't have any allegiance one way or the other, I'd possibly go Mac. I'd possibly go one of those Adobe products, because that seems to be where most people do the fancy editing. But that's what I use. I get by on it. It's not fantastic. I don't know what the best editing software is. Maybe put some comments if you think there's something that's the Adobe Premiere Elements works just fine, says Bandit Man UK. That was the one I was thinking of, actually. So yeah, that seems to be one of the better ones. Maybe go that route rather than what I do. Peak Rider, any new YouTube channels you've got into recently? Yeah, there are actually quite a few, but I'm not sure they're motorcycling ones. Let me think. I've got into a few aeroplane ones recently. Funny enough that Richie Vida recommended to me. I've been watching those. No new bike ones, I don't think. I'll let you know. Again, I used to do a little series called Did You See, where I sort of reviewed bike channels that I was watching. I may reanimate that little series, and I'll update you on the channels I'm watching there. Neil Higgs, I've got a 2014 Phaser. I live opposite Airfield in Maidenhead. You can ride mine if you want. Thank you, Neil. Very kind of you. Yeah, when could we do that? That would be good, wouldn't it? Maybe, Neil, if you can, drop me a mail to the mistenflyer@gmail.com, and then we can get into conversation about that. I would like to have a go on a Phaser. That would be great fun. Trevor Baker's got a Phaser 600. Get yourself up northeast and take it out. You see, this is the issue. To get up to the northeast would take me ages, and for not meaning to decry it, but just for a bike review, it's not really practical. Adobe Premiere Pro I use, says Moto Michelle. Yeah, Adobe seems to be one of the favourite ones. Do you watch The Flying Reporter, says Sam Turner? No, I don't. I'm going to make a note of that. Flying Reporter. What's that about then? Sounds like there might be a flying element, so it'd probably appeal. I'll check that out. Motorbike Tourer 2.0 review. Yeah, it's coming. I had the 2.0 a while back, and I have been a bit remiss in that those videos for that have been put back and back for various reasons. But they are coming very soon, in the next few days. Before the end of this month, you will see my 2.0 videos. What an amazing bike, and hopefully you'll enjoy those videos. Right, let me, how are we doing? 5 minutes. One more off this list, then I'll do some parish notices, and then we'll have to wrap up. James Joyce, if you're not using your bikes over winter, do you start them up and let them tick over? Well, I do use them over winter. If I weren't, I would do that, but I wouldn't. You know, you got to make sure if you're going to do that to make sure everything's still running properly. You've got to leave them running for a fair old period of time. I'd run them for 10-15 minutes so they're properly warm. You want all the fluids to get properly hot. You don't want condensation forming in your cylinder heads, for example. So you want to get the oil properly warm so that any condensation gets evaporated, or whatever the word is, out of your cylinders. So yeah, and also keep the bikes on a charger, I would say. Okay, that's it for those. I'm going to scrap the list until next time. Again, apologies if I've missed your questions on the live stream. I will go through this later on when it's published as a recorded video, and make sure I've picked any repeating ones that I might be missing out. Let's go with the, what was that? Paul Hemming, I give up. Sorry, Paul, it sounds like I've missed one of yours. Try it one more time. If you just try it one more time, do it in capitals, and I might see it, or highlight it if you can. I'm just waiting to see if Paul sends another message. If not, Paul, I promise I'll pick it up and I'll get it next time. Okay, it hasn't come up. Okay, not to worry. Right, parish notices then. Must just say, as ever, thanks to Custom Fit Guards, my sponsor of these videos. They make these little orange earplugs that you see me riding on my videos. I'm a big fan of these. I've been using these now for 2 or 3 years, and they very kindly have come on board to sponsor this video and my bike news video. So Custom Fit Guards, check out the detail. Well, in fact, there's a little ticker tape here with details on how you can get a discount if you go and visit their website. I mentioned by name. Some of the videos coming up in the next few days. KTM Super Duke GT first ride, that's coming up soon. Honda NC750X. A lot of people have asked me about this. I did do a review of this bike, and that is coming up. I did the review when I was out with Canary Motorcycle Tours about it's a good couple of months ago now that we did that, but that video is coming up soon. The Triumph 1200 Scrambler I mentioned, that's coming out tomorrow, 7 AM, so that's an early one. The first of my 2.0 rides, just mentioned that. I've got some stuff coming out for new bikers as well. I've also got at least one sort of comedy video, look out for that. Got some good old-fashioned vloggage coming up. The next bike news, which always seems to go down quite well for some reason, March the 28th, and I've got some bonus stuff as well. Just in case you don't know, I commit to post new videos every Monday and Thursday. Every now and then I have too many videos for that schedule, so I'll just post another bonus one. So the Scrambler one tomorrow, for example, it being a Tuesday, is a bonus video. And occasionally you might get those videos where I just put like the exhaust sound up of a bike. Some people hate them. I get lots of thumbs down for those. But I think if you're in the market for buying a bike, things like the exhaust sound is quite important. So I'll keep posting those, but they won't be a Monday or Thursday official upload. There'll be a bonus one. So if you don't like them, just skip on, that's fine. And probably I'll do the same with flying ones as well. Okay, just a couple more from here then. Let's see what we've got happening. Donna Randall, Suzuki Bandit here for you to ride. Well, it depends where you are, Donna. What else have we got? Chilton Turbos agreeing with Trevor. I'll have to find out what that was about. Paul Hemming, ABBA Motorglide, add-on for their superbike stand. Any experience? Sorry to repeat. No, thanks for repeating. And after all the repeating, I don't have any experience of that, I'm afraid. I'm a big ABBA stands fan, as you no doubt know, hence asking the question. But I don't have any experience of that. Sorry about that. Okay, let's wrap it up then. So don't forget, next live stream, make a note in your diary. Monday, April the 15th, 8 PM UK time will be the next live stream. I will put notices out on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram when that's due. And I'll send out a little notice via the community tab as well in YouTube. So if you're subscribed, you should get a message. I don't know how effective that is, but I will send out those notifications. And yeah, look forward very much to speaking to you then. In the meantime, I hope you get through this. Is it Storm Gregory that's coming up? Get through that, and we get hopefully with the clocks changing going forward, we should be into some good weather soon. All right, look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.